Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video, I will show you what's new on Android 16. Let's begin! As you probably know by now, there's been an open beta for Android 16 lately, and it has some interesting new features, and in this video we'll be taking a closer look at 8 of them. First one is the webcam functionality. If you ever wanted to use your phone as a webcam, if I remember correctly, you had to play around with some custom third-party applications in order to do that, but now you should be able to use this built-in on your Android phone. As you can see here, I have my laptop here, is Asus Gaming A15, and here I have Google Pixel 8, though it doesn't really matter as this should work flawlessly without any issues on any laptop and any phone. As you can see, I have successfully connected my Android phone. Now I can expand my control center and go into more options and notification for USB. If you for some reason can't find it, you can also go into it by going into settings and connect devices and USB. Here, if we scroll down, we should see how we want to use our USB. And as you can see currently, we don't even have the data transfer enabled. However, we can switch it up to the webcam. And now, on my laptop, I can't really showcase you this, but I can switch my cameras, so I can switch to my front camera built into my laptop, or I can use the camera from this specific phone, which is a really nice feature, and it's pretty cool they've added it officially. Anyway, let me unplug the little phone here, as we don't need the webcam functionality anymore. And let's head to the different menu of the settings, and that is sounds and vibration. In here, we want to scroll down a little and find our vibration and haptics. And if we enable the vibration and haptics, we'll see second cool feature of Android 16, and that being adaptive vibration. If we click on it, we should see that we now have the ability to enable or disable adaptive vibration. It will basically use the microphone and other sensors in order to determine not only the sound levels but also the context, for example if it's in your pocket or if it's on the table or whatever. And depending on the situation, it will vibrate louder or, well, let's say more powerful, or with less power depending on the situation. Once again, it is a pretty useful feature, as for example I rarely even feel the vibration inside my pockets, so with this feature I hope it will the experience of using vibrations will be much better. Now onto the AI features. There are 2 new AI features that I think are pretty cool. Well, actually not really AI features, only one of them is truly AI, but both of these can be used for wallpaper generation. Of course, if we go to settings, and if we leave the sound and vibration, we should see our wallpaper and style. Here, we can click it and go to more wallpapers, and we have 2 options. We can go into Emoji Workshop, or we can choose a wallpaper. I will not go into this AI wallpaper because that's been for quite a time now. However, I will go into Emoji Workshop, which lets you create emoji wallpapers. I will quickly go over it, so let me quickly click the plus icons. Here we can choose what emojis we want to add into our little emoji background. So for example, I can add the sad face, this emoji, the cloudy faces, whatever we want. If we leave it, we can switch to patterns, so now we can change not only the zoom level of our emojis, but also the patterns themselves. So we can switch to mosaic, lotus, stacks, sprinkle, and personally the coolest for me, the prism. And lastly, we can change the colors, so we can switch to something different like the nice green color or the purple one, or even something darker if you are a fan of a dark mode. and you can always click Inspire Me in order to see some cool looking built-in random backgrounds. This actually looks pretty decent. Like I'm kind of surprised, but I really like how it looks, so I'm going to stick with it. But if you have the Android 16 beta, I would strongly advise you to play around with it, because surprisingly the wallpapers that come from this feature are pretty cool. So now we can simply click Set as Wallpaper. I'm going to disable the home screen, and I will only set this wallpaper as a lock screen wallpaper. However, that's still not everything. If we go back to our more wallpapers, we can press Choose a Wallpaper. And this will take us to our photos, so I'm going to go into my photo right here. I've made it quite some time now. And this takes us to fourth feature of Android 16, and that being cinematic wallpaper. If we click these little stars at the bottom, we can enable the create cinematic wallpaper, and depending of the basically complexity of your image, it might take longer, it might take shorter, but it will basically create this nice looking 3D effect. As you can see right here, I will simply hit set as wallpaper. I will disable the lock screen because we have set wallpaper emoji wallpaper before, so I will only set it to the home screen. And now if we leave it, we should see that we have this nice looking 3D effect. Of course, the image is still pretty basic, but I believe if you play around with something more interesting, like a landscape view or even like a family photo, then this effect might look even cooler. Anyway, switching up from something cool and fancy to something actually practical and something I might really use for me personally, and this being safety check-in. We won't be getting into the settings this time. Instead, we'll go and find the safety Google application, which can be found right here. Now, in order to use the safety check, you have to go into emergency sharing and add some emergency contacts. I would advise you to basically add maybe like a friend or two, most likely your family, whatever you like, actually whoever you like. And after you've done with that, we can go and play around with the safety check. Well, to be honest, word play around is not a great word for describing this, as the setting itself is pretty serious, and I'm surprised they've done this. But let's say I'm going for a midnight walk, like I'm living in a very dangerous part of the city, and there is a pretty high chance I might not return. So I can go and set the reason. For me it will be walking alone, but I can also create my own, and I will stick to the walking alone. And let's say I want to go for a 30-minute walk. Now I can hit next, and now I can enable if I want to notify contacts whenever I click start right now, or only when the timer will go off. I will disable this option. I will hit start, and as you can see, the safety check will now start, and we can see this screen right here. So as you can see, I'm walking alone, and the alarm will automatically go off in 30 minutes from now. We can click this big button to stop and set the timer, or we can enable the emergency right now, or we can call 112. I'm going to press stop. However, we can go into the demo version that we can find in the features, and we can hit try demo, so we can see how cool and how pretty serious this looks. So I will hit start. Warning: this will play a loud alarm. So you know, keep your speakers intact. So I'm going to hit start, and as you can see, we have three options. I'm okay, start trying now, or call 112. I'm going to hit OK because I think you guys already saw the settings. But if you would not respond into that, then our phone will send emergency settings and emergency messages to all our emergency contacts. To be honest, this setting is pretty darn cool and pretty darn serious at the same time, especially if you like hiking a lot or leaving the town a lot or basically doing anything remotely dangerous, and it might really help you. Anyway, speaking of things that might help you, we can go back into our settings and go right at the bottom into accessibility, and this will take us to the 6th cool option, and this being a live caption for calls. So we can locate our live caption, which I've kind of lost. Okay, it's right here under captions. So you probably know the live caption itself. However, they've added the live caption separately for the calls. In here we can disable this completely, so it won't ask us every time if you want to enable the caption for our current call. However, if you need to, you can always set it to always, so it will automatically set the caption to on. There's not much else to say. Just keep in mind that the live caption is not intended for calls with, for example, a group chat or with more than one friend. So try to stick with only one person one person at the time, because I'm guessing that the AI that creates these captions will simply struggle with a more crowded room. Anyway, speaking of talking and basically showing your stuff, we can go into the screen recording, because now we don't really have to record our whole screen. Instead, we can choose if we want to record our specific application, which is a really nice feature. If you ever shared your screen on a Discord, for example, then this screen right here should be very familiar to you, as you can simply check and change if you want to record this screen specifically, or if you want to record only one application. If you select one application, then after hitting next, you will be able to not only choose the application that is currently running in the background, but you can also choose from all our applications on your phone, and it will automatically open this application and start recording. And lastly, going into the 8th and final feature for today's video, we can go into the settings, leave the accessibility options, go into our system, and in the language we not only can now change the system language itself, but also the language of each and every separate application. Now, as you can see, the list is not as big as the screen recorder. My guess is that this feature is not currently supported by every application on my phone, and whenever Android 16 will release publicly, this will probably get fixed and the list will be much larger. But as you can see, by default, all of the applications are set to language of system default. However, we can go, for example, to calculator, because as you can see, I've changed it previously. And we can switch from system default to other language. We can choose whatever language we like. I will choose once again Polish, and I will simply showcase you that, well, the system itself is still in English. However, if we go into our calculator, and right here, we can see that this is no longer English, it is Polish. And I've been missing this setting for quite some time now. It's available on PC, it's available basically anywhere else, where you can change the specific app language built-in application, but now you can do that from the system standpoint, from the Android, which is a really handy feature, and I will definitely use it for quite some time now. Of course, after official Android 16 releases, because remember, this is all the March beta. Anyway, that's been a long video, but we are finally done with the new Android 16 features. If you found this useful, or if you have any thoughts, any comments, any opinions, make sure to share them in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe, and I really thank you for watching this video. Bye!